You were told to watch I. You were told Nvidia was the play. You were told to find the next big model, the next big application, the next big chatbot. Meanwhile, the smartest money on earth quietly walked out of the room, drove to a power plant, and started writing checks. Because they know something you don't. Every AI company on the planet has the exact same fatal weakness. They are all starving for the same thing. And it is not data, it is not talent, it is electricity. And there is not enough of it to go around. Imagine your neighborhood has a lemonade stand. Business is good. 1 cup a day, maybe 2. The kid running the stand? She's got plenty of lemons, plenty of sugar, plenty of cups. Life is easy. Now imagine that suddenly every kid in the neighborhood wants lemonade. Not 1 cup, 10 cups, every single day. And not just your neighborhood, every neighborhood in the entire country wants lemonade. Here's the problem. She still has the same tiny table, the same 1 bag of sugar, the same small pitcher. She cannot make lemonade fast enough. So what happens? The price of lemons goes up. The price of sugar goes up. The companies that make pitchers and tables, their business explodes. That is exactly what's happening with energy in America right now. I is the kid who showed up and ordered 10,000 cups of lemonade. And our energy grid? That's the tiny table. Now here's where it gets interesting. And this is the part most people skip because they don't read history. But if you're Gen X like me, you appreciate history because we've actually lived through a few economic cycles. Go back to 1945. World War II just ended. Millions of soldiers come home. They're getting married. They're moving to the suburbs. Levittown. Cookie cutter houses. The American dream, right? But here's what nobody talks about. All those new houses needed electricity. All those new factories, the ones that stopped making bombs and started making refrigerators and TVs and washing machines, they all needed electricity. And America's energy grid at the time, it was built for a country at war, not a country at peace with millions of new homes and factories. So what happened? Boom! A 20-year energy explosion. From 1945 to 1965, more money poured into the energy sector than almost any other industry in America. And it created an entirely new class of millionaires. Not the guys who invented the TV, not the guys who built the houses, the guys who powered all of it. Now here's the money psychology lesson. Most people were watching the TV manufacturers. They were watching the home builders. They were watching the obvious thing. But the quiet fortunes, they were built by the people who said, I don't care who wins. They all need electricity. That's the mindset shift. Stop asking which AI company wins. Start asking what do all of them need to survive. Now, after that boom in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, something interesting happened. Energy demand in America basically went to sleep. For 20 years, the line was flat. Why? Because there was no major new reason to need more electricity. We had enough power plants. We had enough grid. Everything was fine. And then AI walked into the room. And that flat line, it turned into a rocket ship. Let me give you the numbers so you can feel this in your bones. When you Google something, just a regular Google search, it uses about the same energy as leaving an energy-saving bulb on for 10 seconds. When you ask ChatGPT the same question, it uses enough energy to leave that light bulb on for 2 full minutes. That's 12 times more energy for one question. Now multiply that by the 200 million people using ChatGPT every week. Now add Claude, add Gemini, add Perplexity, add every company building AI tools. You starting to see the problem? Now pay attention to this because the CEO of Nvidia, Jensen Huang, the guy running the most important company in the artificial intelligence revolution, he said something that most people completely glossed over. He said, artificial intelligence is a 5-layer cake. Energy, chips, infrastructure, models, and applications. Notice what's at the bottom. Not chips, not software, not applications, but energy. Energy is the foundation. Without it, nothing else exists. He also said something that should make every American entrepreneur sit up straight. He said, China has twice as much energy as we have as a nation, and our economy is larger than theirs. That makes no sense to me. Let me translate that for you. The CEO of the most valuable chip company on earth is basically saying, America, you have a massive energy problem, and if you don't fix it, you're going to lose the artificial intelligence race. Now here's the money psychology. When the richest, most connected CEO on the planet tells you what the problem is, that's not just information. That's a signal. That's him telling you where the money has to flow. Because the problem has to be solved. And when a problem has to be solved, money always flows toward the solution. Okay, here's where the story gets wild. And if you're a founder or an entrepreneur, this is where your pattern recognition should be going haywire. These tech companies, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, and Meta all need so much energy for their data centers that they can't wait for the energy companies to build it. The energy companies are too slow. The permitting takes too long. The grid is too old. So what are they doing? They're building their own power plants. Let that sink in. Microsoft is investing in nuclear energy. Amazon is buying up energy infrastructure. In March 2025, tech CEOs literally sat down with the Trump administration to figure out how tech companies can build their nuclear plants. Think about that. Software companies building nuclear reactors, that's like finding out your local pizza shop just bought a wheat farm because they couldn't get flour fast enough. Now let me explain the data center piece, because this is what makes it real. Every time you ask ChatGPT a question, that data has to be stored somewhere physically. It lives in a building called a data center. And each one of these data centers uses enough electricity to power a small American city, not a small building. A small city, and Microsoft isn't building one. They're building dozens. Amazon, dozens. Google, dozens. So we're basically adding dozens of small cities to America's electricity demand, except we never built the power grid to handle it. This is why the CEO of Nvidia said these major tech companies will all be running their own nuclear reactors within 6 to 7 years. Now, if you're a Gen X entrepreneur, you've seen this movie before. You saw the internet boom. You saw the mobile boom. You know that when the biggest companies in the world are all moving in the same direction, it's not a fad, it's a trend, and trends create wealth. Now, let me put on my money psychologist hat for a second, because this is the part that separates people who build wealth from people who chase wealth. There's a concept in behavioral finance called shiny object bias. Your brain, my brain, and everyone's brain is wired to look at the exciting thing, the flashy thing, the thing that's on the front page. Right now, everyone is staring at artificial intelligence stocks. Which artificial intelligence company is going to win? Should I buy Nvidia? Should I buy OpenAI when it IPOs? And look, those might be great investments. I'm not saying they're not, but here's what history teaches us. During the California gold rush, most of the miners went broke. You know who got rich? Levi Strauss, the guy who sold pants to the miners. He didn't need to find gold. He just needed miners to keep mining. And they all needed pants. During the internet boom, thousands of websites failed. You know who made money no matter what? Cisco, the company that made the routers, the infrastructure. Because whether your website succeeded or failed, you still needed a router to connect to the internet. Energy is today's version of selling pants to miners. It's today's version of making routers during the internet boom. Energy. Artificial intelligence company needs energy. Whether OpenAI wins or Google wins or some company we haven't heard of yet wins, they all need electricity. They all need data centers. They all need power. So stop asking, who's going to win the artificial intelligence race? Start asking, what does everyone in the artificial intelligence race need? The answer is energy. And that is where the quiet money is moving. Alright, now let's get practical. You don't want hype. You want the how. If you want to know how real investors are positioning themselves for this shift, write in the comment section. Let me walk you through.